My name is Kerry Knox and I'm a Science Teaching and Learning Fellow at the University of British Columbia. This presentation will describe the ongoing evaluation of a multi-component interdisciplinary programme in atmospheric aerosols. I will provide an introduction to this unique programme and our evaluation procedure. I will then describe one aspect of the evaluation in more detail, that is the use of a modified Delphi method for defining competencies. Since 2009, the Canadian National Science and Engineering Research Council, or NSERC, has funded around 20 Collaborative Research and Training Experience, or CREATE programs each year. This presentation concerns one of these programs, specifically the CREATE Atmospheric Aerosols program, or CREATE-AAP. The intention of these programs is to support the training of teams of highly qualified students and postdoctoral fellows through the development of innovative training programs that encourage collaborative and integrative approaches and address significant scientific challenges associated with Canada's research priorities. They also aim to facilitate the transition of new researchers from trainees into productive employees in the Canadian workforce. Funded programs may, for example, encourage an interdisciplinary approach or increased collaboration between industry and academia. There is some overlap between the goals of the CREATE programs and those of the IGERT graduate training programs in the USA. In CREATE-AAP, the focus is on interdisciplinary graduate training. The program is directed by Professor Alan Bertram and brings together 10 principal investigators from 8 academic units at the University of British Columbia, or UBC. They are all experts in aerosol science, but working in diverse fields, for example chemistry, medicine and engineering. While understanding atmospheric aerosols requires an interdisciplinary approach, most graduate programs are disciplinary and not highly aligned with preparation for future careers in aerosol science. CREATE-AAP addresses these gaps by providing an interdisciplinary research and training environment for its participants. The focus is on the training of graduate students, all of whom are enrolled in a degree programme in a home department and brought together for interdisciplinary training through CREATE-AAP. The programme is currently in its 3rd year. Between 5 and 10 students are enrolled each year and stay in the programme for 2 years. At any one time, there are therefore between 10 and 20 trainees. Some aspects of the programme are also open to any interested researchers and students, extending the impact of the programme beyond the trainees and adding to the community building effect of the programme. CREATE-AAP offers a range of training activities. The first 2 courses listed here fulfil part of the trainees' disciplinary graduate programme requirements, while the other components are in addition to their regular requirements. I would like to highlight the benefit of a few of the activities. For example, the student seminar series exposes the trainees to recent research results from across the UBC aerosol research community, as well as providing an opportunity to develop presentation skills. The internal and external internships allow the trainees to work for a short period with a different aerosol research group at UBC or with an industrial or governmental partner organisation, expanding their skills and preparing them for their future careers, whether in academic research or in industry or government. The professional skills development workshops make use of existing resources on the UBC campus, for example through the Centre for Teaching, Learning and Technology or the Faculty of Graduate Studies, again helping to prepare the trainees to succeed in their future careers. The combination of this wide range of activities and the collaboration between researchers from across the UBC campus and beyond provides a unique and exceptionally enriching training environment for the trainees. So now on to the programme evaluation procedure that we carried out. We began by preparing a logic model to guide the programme evaluation. This involved the clear articulation of the programme's inputs, activities, and outputs and outcomes. I've just described the major inputs and activities and would like to draw your attention briefly to the outputs and outcomes of the programme to emphasise that we are interested in both the research and training outputs and the impact of the programme for student development in the areas of interdisciplinary knowledge, skills and attitudes. A major aim of the programme evaluation is the alignment of the learning outcomes, activities and assessments involved. We've been guided by the work of Borrego and Cutler, who highlighted the importance of such alignment for graduate training and noted that it is often missing in interdisciplinary graduate training programs. The first stage of the evaluation process involved seeking mentor and student expectations of the program through interviews. This revealed a need to explore the nature of interdisciplinarity in order to refine the learning outcomes for the program, focusing on interdisciplinary competencies. We were interested in both disciplinary and interdisciplinary knowledge, technical research skills as well as soft skills such as communication, and also the role of attitudes, several of which have been identified in the literature as key to effective interdisciplinary work. Several methods were used during the programme evaluation, including interviews, surveys following the Delphi method, standalone surveys, and a concept mapping activity to assess student progress. I will now focus in more detail on the use of a modified Delphi method, which was used for defining the most important interdisciplinary competencies in the context of this programme. While there are several examples of studies of interdisciplinary competencies available in the literature, these have tended to focus on health research and engineering, with little available in the area of aerosol science or more generally involving the physical sciences, which is a well-represented field in our programme. The Delphi process is a structured form of group communication between experts, which allows a problem or task to be dealt with systematically, offering an alternative to in-person discussions. It is suited to dealing with large groups of experts, geographically separated teams, and groups for which the participants have overlapping but distinct areas of expertise. The process is usually comprised of two phases: the exploration and collection of ideas, and the evaluation of those ideas. These two phases are executed using a sequence of questionnaires, usually one or two for each phase. In our work, the process was as follows. We started from a list of competencies developed by Gebbie et al. In 2007 from a review of the literature. Gebbie et al. Used the list they developed as the starting point for a Delphi process exploring interdisciplinary competencies with a focus on health research. It was sought to build upon their study and to evaluate the generalizability or transferability of the competencies they developed. The list of candidate competencies was put to a group of 19 world-leading researchers in atmospheric aerosol science working in academia in the first questionnaire, or Q1. Following the procedure of Gebbie et al., our experts were asked whether they would include each competency in a list used to guide the training of interdisciplinary scholars, and if so, if they would suggest any modifications to the wording of the competency. They were also asked to suggest additional competencies. 14 experts contributed at this stage. In the second questionnaire, Q2, the results of this process for each competency were presented to the group, and they were asked to evaluate the statements again in the light of the judgment of their peers. 5 experts contributed at this stage, which is a somewhat lower number than is desirable for a Delphi process. Owing to the relevance of industry and government perspectives to this programme, a group of industry and government experts were also approached to engage in the same process. Engagement was too low to proceed with the Delphi process for this group. However, one detailed response received from a government aerosol researcher to Q1, along with 2 in-depth interviews on interdisciplinary training with other government researchers with highly interdisciplinary aerosol research programs, were drawn upon in preparation of the resulting list of competencies. We're investigating approaches to further engage these groups in the future. Here are some example statements from Gebbie et al. Which were used as the starting point for our Delphi process. The scholar who has completed doctoral work with an emphasis on interdisciplinary research is able to express intellectual curiosity for the perspectives of other disciplines, attend scholarly presentations by members of other disciplines, share research from his or her discipline in language meaningful to an interdisciplinary team, and draft funding proposals for research in partnership with scholars from other disciplines. So let's see how the process unfolded for a couple of the competencies. A competency was retained if 9 or more of the respondents in Q1 and 3 out of 5 of the respondents in Q2 opted to retain them, or if 4 out of 5 of the respondents in Q2 opted to retain it. Statements were modified if 3 or more respondents in Q2 suggested altering them, or if 2 or more respondents in Q2 suggested altering them and the comments from Q1 supported the alterations. Adjustments to the list as a result of the perspectives of the government professionals were made based on the judgment of the researchers. Here is the process for the competency. The scholar who has completed doctoral work with an emphasis on interdisciplinary research is able to express intellectual curiosity for the perspective of other disciplines. This competency was strongly supported in Q1, with 1 comment on the wording contributed. It was also strongly supported in Q2. All 3 of our governmental experts expressed a strong sense that the key to effective interdisciplinary work is understanding what other disciplines can offer. And 2 of the 3 emphasised that respecting the input of experts from other fields is critical. We therefore modified the statement to read, "Express intellectual curiosity and respect for the perspectives of other disciplines. Be aware of the potential contribution of other disciplines." Hence, the competency was retained in the list used to guide the programme, as it would have been as a result of the process with the researchers from academia, but was modified to incorporate the perspective of governmental researchers, which is key for the programme at hand here. Here's another example relating to the ability of trainees to draft interdisciplinary funding proposals. While this was only moderately supported by the group of researchers in academia, a strong sense from the governmental researchers of the importance of interdisciplinarity for driving future research led us to retain a modified version of the original statement. As a result of this process, we developed a set of 18 competencies which we're using to guide the ongoing programme evaluation. These have been grouped into 3 areas in a similar approach to that of Gebbie et al. The first grouping is conduct research. And I'd like to highlight that a new competency was added to the list through this process. That is the ability to demonstrate mastery of his or her home discipline. While this competency may appear purely disciplinary rather than interdisciplinary, disciplinary grounding as an essential prerequisite to successful interdisciplinary work was an extremely strong theme amongst many of our experts. The second grouping concerns communication. And again, an apparently disciplinary competency emerged from our process. That is, the ability to communicate at a high level with scholars from your own home discipline. The final grouping concerned collaboration and touched on several interdisciplinary attitudes. As reasoned by Gebbie et al., a set of competencies should be regularly reviewed and considered as a working document. We intend to revisit these competencies regularly, for example through appropriate engagement of industry and government professionals, and also the mentors of this programme. The developed interdisciplinary competencies are being used to guide the development of the training activities offered by the programme, and also as the basis for learning objectives for individual programme components. Here's an example of this alignment in action for a few of the identified competencies. To develop the ability to share research from his or her discipline in language meaningful to an interdisciplinary team, we shifted the focus of the student seminar series this year towards presenting to an interdisciplinary audience, and we did this via communication of learning objectives and incorporation of a peer evaluation process. In the case of integrating concepts and methods from multiple disciplines in designing interdisciplinary research protocols, we've introduced concept mapping workshops to promote and assess progress in integration of concepts across disciplines. In the case of being able to author publications with scholars from other disciplines or draft funding proposals in partnership with scholars from other disciplines, we've identified that these skills are suited to being addressed via targeted activities in the graduate research seminar course, and these are currently under development. In summary, I've described the use of a modified Delphi process for exploring interdisciplinary competencies and the alignment of programme activities with these competencies. We're currently developing tools to assess progress towards the competencies, including the use of concept mapping activities. We would like to acknowledge all of the CREATE-AAP trainees and mentors for their willing participation in our evaluation activities. This work represents a collaboration between the UBC Science Centre for Learning and Teaching, or Skylight, the Department of Chemistry, and the Centre for Teaching, Learning and Technology. Financial support was received via a Skylight Development Award. Thank you very much.